Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at the first content update for No Creeps 0.2.0. There is some new stuff coming with this update, but I'm also going to recap a few of the things I've been working on over the past month. There's been a lot of changes going in every few days, and I just want to make sure everybody knows about some of this stuff, so let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is the game's difficulty. So a lot of people had a problem, this game was too hard. I hear you. And I made some changes. I've made hundreds and hundreds of little tweaks to the creeps, to the weapons, to your abilities, income rate, all kinds of stuff. But what I've also done here is I've made pretty big changes to the difficulty modes. So what used to be normal has now been moved to a hard mode. And normal has been quite retuned. So you get more money, the attacker creeps do less damage. It should be a lot more reasonable now, but if you liked the way the game was tuned before, you'll want to switch to hard mode. Hard mode gives you an extra 20% boost to your score, which will give you better artifacts, while the new normal mode doesn't take anything away, so it's only gotten easier for normal mode. So if you found the game really difficult at launch, please maybe give the game another try and see if it's a little better. Like I said, I've made hundreds of changes on top of this difficulty mode change, so it should be quite a bit better now. Alright, let's get on to some new stuff. First thing we're going to look at here is a medic hub. So this is a defensive unit, so it can build stuff for you. It won't build stuff as fast as Brian will, but you can turn Brian off if you don't want him moving around building your stuff, and you can let these guys do it. But that's not really their main function though, so their main function is to repair turrets for you. So you can see this guy keeping this weak little turret in the fight by pumping repair juice into it. And every now and again these little repair bots, they're going to have to return to their hub to rearm full of repair juice. All that stuff can be upgraded, so how much repair juice they have or how fast they repair. And these repair rates work based on the max health of the turret they're fixing, so you can create turrets that are really tough to kill when they've got one of these medics backing them up. Alright, let's get on to something that actually kills something. So, I've got this SRM launcher here. So this turret is a long-range missile launcher, and you can see that the missiles take a little while to lock on, but once they do, they blast in at like ridiculous speeds, and they're pretty much impossible to avoid. These are really good at dealing with fast creeps, especially skitzers, because there's pretty much no way that they can dodge or avoid these missiles. And of course, they work really good in groups also. Just like everything else. Alright, so the next thing we're going to look at here is a new feature where you can upgrade your artifacts. So when you have artifacts you don't like, you can sell them for artifact essence. And you'll get half of the value of that artifact back in the form of artifact essence. And you can use that to upgrade your artifacts. So every time you upgrade, it'll go up a level, and the cost for doing that will increase. You can see the highlighted stats so you'll know what's changing. And you can go all the way up to overpowered. So it'll take you a while to upgrade a junk piece all the way up to overpowered, but you can do that. So getting like absolutely super far in endless mode isn't the only way you can get some of this stuff. But yeah, you can upgrade these things now. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to look at is multi-selection. So, you know, people are having a problem with this garbage, like, oh, I gotta click on each and every one, oh, it's annoying. So I ended up adding a multi-selection function, so I can just click on all this garbage here and toggle them all at once. You can double-click things to select all of a type. You can select multiple turrets and upgrade them or change their sorting. When you're selecting more than one thing of a type, you can use tab to move through the sub-selection. There's always like a primary selected thing. So if you have a bunch of blasters and a bunch of pounders selected, and you're upgrading the blasters' damage, the pounders' damage won't get upgraded because the type doesn't match. You can also clear a lot of scaffolding this way. So this should cut down on a little bit of the tedium. Hopefully. I managed to sneak in a new creep. So people were having a problem that when you destroyed boxes, they would release critters, and if they were close to your driller, you would lose the secondary objective, and that's annoying. This also would happen if you sell structures, and that just kind of sucks. So what I ended up doing is making these flying creeps, so they don't actually go into your drillers. They can attack you and they distract your turrets and they're kind of a pest. But at least you don't lose that side objective, so they're a little bit easier to manage. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at a new map here. It's called Micro, and it is kind of small, lots of garbage to deal with. But if you look at these tracks, these are 4 wide, so there's a lot of opportunity for mazing and rooting them around. You can get a lot of turrets on this map, actually, despite its size. But yeah, there's a lot to clear at first, so it's a little difficult. You also notice I have a co-op player in this, so I'm going to show off another feature. So before, when you were playing co-op, all the artifact data belonged to the host, and the client was just like a helper. But that has changed, so when you're playing co-op, each player will own their artifacts. So when you build your turrets, your artifacts get applied to them, and when the other player builds their turrets, their artifacts get applied to those. So you'll have to coordinate a little bit with your other player. When you mouse over the artifact summary here, you can see all your artifact information, but if you hold shift, you'll be able to see the other player's artifact information. And when you click on structures, you'll be able to tell who owns them. So you can kind of formulate a joint strategy together. But yeah, this has been a heavily requested change, and I only had to touch about 7 million lines of code to make it work, but hey, it works. Let me know if there's any problems with it. But yeah, that's all I have for this update video. Like I said, I've made hundreds and hundreds of little changes if you want to check out the patch notes. This is kind of just a highlight for the new content and some of the major things that I've been changing. But yeah, I hope everybody jumps in there and has a good time with all this new stuff. See you next time, everybody.